All right, so I'm going to give a little introduction before you watch the stream, and just talk about what just happened, I guess. And I'm holding the Vive here because I'm using it as my microphone right now. So I played Half-Life for maybe a total of an hour and got really ill. So I only streamed, I think, maybe a half hour total of that, and um, I ended up as the game progressed, I got really sweaty, and this room is maybe 80 degrees. It's not cool, but it's not. I'm not sweating now, um, and I stopped playing maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours ago. So I got really sweaty, like when you feel sick, and you're about to vomit, and just got so queasy that I had to quit. Um, and even now, I'm coming off of it. The other thing that happened is I got an awful headache. So I got a really bad migraine, and there were to the point that there's kind of flames. If you've ever had a migraine, there were flames in my vision and blind spots, and then only now, 2 hours later, are the blind spots finally gone. But I still have a pretty bad headache. Um, so what's making this happen? There's a few things that make it happen. One is just that there's no translational tracking. So you have the headset on, and you can look around. It's like your head's on like you're on a lazy Susan, or your head's stuck to a pole that can rotate. You can spin, you can look up and down, but there's no leaning forward. There's no sort of tilting side to side. Those things don't exist, and that makes you really sick, especially when I'd see something interesting in the game, and this is one of my favorite games, and I'd want to go lean in and look at it. So um, I'd lean in expecting it to get bigger and fill more of my vision, but it wouldn't. It'd just be like, you know, the whole world would move as you lean, and that thing would stay the same size. And so you have this thing going on that your brain is trying to tell you, like, this thing's going to get bigger. You're going to lean in, you're going to get closer to it, and it doesn't happen. And that makes you sick pretty quickly. Um, One of the other things um, is that whenever the loading screen would pop up, um, you know that that um, what ends up happening whenever there's a loading screen is you get a screen cap, and then it stays on that until the next area loads. But when that happens is you're looking around, you're walking, you're moving forward, the world's moving, and then bam, it stops. But I'm still looking around, but now you have this thing frozen in your view, and so I'm looking to the right, and I'm expecting the world to shift with that, and it stops doing it immediately. So anytime that happens, my stomach would just flip once over, just ooh. And so those two things, I think, over time really progressed to become kind of too much. Um, and so I think I think this could be improved because Hover Junkers is a playable game where you are moving through space, but it's not, you're on a platform. If they would just add in translational tracking where you could lean into things and they'd get bigger, where you could move up and down, where it knew where the floor was, the same as the rest of the Vive's room scale features, I think that would help it 100-fold. I think that would take it out for the majority of people if they fix the loading screens so that that didn't happen. The sticking in one place, because that is awful. It's really, really horrible. I think if you could fix those two things, I think the majority of players could play this and have a pretty okay time of it. But for now, I don't think I'm going to play again. The only thing I might do is go hang out in Dr. Kleiner's lab, because it's really cool and there's lots of fun stuff in there. But as far as playing through the game, I can't imagine it being fun at all. I can just imagine myself getting really sick, and there's too much good VR content out there for me to just spend all day fighting vomit because I want to be in, City 17. I just don't think it's worth it. So I hope you enjoy the stream. It was fun making it, even though it turned out so bad. So thanks. All right, time to start streaming. This time for real. Start a new game from the beginning. I'm playing with the Novint Falcon. This was a peripheral released in 2003 or 4, maybe 5. I can't see my mouse. It has some limits when used in Half-Life 2, like selecting menus. But overall, it's pretty good and really fun. It's a real bummer it didn't catch on more. Half-Life 2 is my favorite game, and I'm really excited to play in VR.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman.
This picketing portion is really weird with VR. There's a bunch of portions of this that aren't actually rendered in real time, so they aren't stereo. So it ends up being just like a video of stuff passing by.
Let's just say your hour has come again.
It's like this stuff I don't think is in stereo.
The right man in the wrong
that
place
or
can make all
the
the
G-Man's
difference
face, which
in
is
the
way
world.
too close.
So wake up,
Makes it look really flat.
Mr. Freeman.
Like this
Wake
part
up
of the
spill
train
the
looks really flat as
ashes.
well. So it won't be until I actually jump in that this looks 3D, which is now. Yeah, so before that was just video. Find the VSD.
I didn't see you get on.
So I've been testing and playing a little bit. Trying to get this working. It is a bit of a trick, but it still does work. It still is supported, sort of, by Valve on the Vive. So it was in the Kickstarter. If you got an Oculus Rift developer kit, then Valve released this game, or at least VR edition to this game, and you can still re-enable all of that, but it takes a little bit of work.
Our benefactors. I've been proud to call City 17 my home. And so, whether you are here to stay or passing
I have
on your way to
Vortigaunt who's still enslaved, just like in Half-Life 1, when you see them all in Zen and when they invade Black Mesa. One thing that's weird about the game playing like this is that so much stuff, you kind of realize the scale is so much different than what you thought it was. Like the city scanners are so much bigger. I always thought of them as being like, maybe this big, a foot across, but really they're like the Oculus part of the city scanner. It's like this big. It's like, 18 to 24 inches. It's really quite big.
Elected to establish my administration here in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors.
Are you the only ones on that train?
I've been proud to call City 17 my home.
Playing with the Falcon is also a little bit weird. I can look left and right with the headset, and my reticle stays where it is. If I move the reticle and hit a limit, it'll force me to look left and right. I think I can increase that window a little bit. I don't really love it. It feels really small right now. I think I'll rush through part of this beginning part.
I was hoping I'd seen the last of him in City 14.
I'm not getting queasy. I thought I'd feel more sick, but after playing games like The Lab and other games really made for room scale, it's easy to see why this game is not great. The other thing that's weird about it is right now I'm really short. I'm not sure how the game wants to respond to that.
My administration here in the citadel so far
Yeah, I'm
provided
pretty small.
our benefactors.
Yeah.
I've been proud
Um,
to call City 17 my
Other
home.
times I've loaded it up, I've been
And so,
like a foot
whether you
taller
are
than
here to
everybody.
stay or
So
pass
I don't know what that's about. Whether it's, you know, I load the game and my head sets on here and that sets my head height and then all of a sudden I'm really tall, or if, you know, I start here and I start crouching. I'm not really sure. In any case, there is no translation tracked. So as I move my head left and right, I feel like the world should be changing, but it's not. And that's really weird. Definitely way different than playing like an actual room scale game.
This must be a
Yeah,
mistake.
see, I'm
I got
too
a
short.
standard
I
relocation
can't
coupon
see
just like
in.
everybody else.
Um, One of the things I've always loved about this game is that there's so much atmospheric storytelling. So there's, you know, the guy getting abused in there, and it's always just so creepy. But nobody has to come out and tell you like, oh, people are being abused in this occupied city. You just kind of figure it out uh, through the actions that are happening around you.
About that beer I owed you. It's me, Gordon, Barney from Black Mesa. Hey, sorry for the scare. I had to put on a show for the cameras. I've been working undercover with civil protection. I can't take too long or they'll get suspicious. I'm way behind on my beating quota.
Yes, Barney, what is it? I'm in the middle of a critical test.
Sorry, Doc, but look who's here.
Great Scott! Gordon
Yeah,
Freeman!
I really love all this stuff in this game.
You and me both,
Watching
Doc.
viewing it in
Who's
VR,
about
see, I
to
really
be
want to
world's
lean
first
in there,
Nova
but when it
prospect?
doesn't lean in, it feels
Barney,
so
what
weird.
do you
Actually, it's
intend?
almost like
I'm
nauseating.
thinking.
So I'll try not to
I'll
do
sit
that.
around here
But you
and
want to lean in
fire.
and see all this
Do you
stuff.
have a better idea
The
how to
combine
get in
control
here?
boards on
As
this
long
big
as he stays
computer.
away from checkpoints, we should be okay. Listen, I gotta go, Doc. We're taking enough chances as it is.
Very well.
So at this point in the story,
Good to see you.
Barney has rescued me from going to
You're gonna have to
uh,
make your own way
Nova
to Dr.
Prospect,
Kleiner's
a
lab.
prison,
Oh man, that's what I was afraid of.
and
Get in here,
he's
Gordon.
telling me that I
Don't
have
blow
to
my cover.
sneak my way over to Dr. Kleiner's lab, and that's not going to go great.
Some stuff to get through that
And
window.
he's
Wait
undercover,
till you're in the plaza.
pretending to
Meet up with
be
you later.
one of the combine. So there's a pretty good series on the architecture of Half-Life. Courtyards like this aren't uncommon, but it's weird because in this building there's only two windows. They come from a storage room, not like an office, and then your way out is into another weird storage room, and yeah, it's a little bizarre. Yeah, so stuff that's nauseating was that this loading screen. All of a sudden you pause. That's not great. So here's one of those weird things. This lock right now is like this big. So and it always looks kind of big, like a little bit big in the game. Same thing with like the chain link fence. You know, the scale of it isn't normal chain link fence. It looks bigger. Part of that just is video game stuff. When you view it on a monitor, that stuff doesn't, that scale doesn't seem off at all. It seems fine. But then when you view it in VR, you know, it really feels wrong. It feels way more off. But you know, in their defense, the scale of things can look right on a monitor, and then when you view it in real life, it looks and feels wrong. Yeah. And it's a game object. You know, these can be shot off of the doors later in the game, and so if it wasn't bigger, you might not think that it's something you can interact with. If they left the scale, you know, really small, like these little locks here, that looks to be the right scale, you know, of a normal lock that you put a key in. And so, but it's not something you can really interact with. Yeah, let's see if I can do the bank shot. Oops. Don't mind me. Yeah. So here's like this part. This guy has this food packet in the creepy dispenser. Oops. Oh, man. And because he decided to chase me down after all. I love this. I love this framing. So the door's open, and there's Dr. Breen next to the Citadel. Sort of, his feelings of his own self-importance. Also, that this screen is on an obelisk, and obelisks in architecture often sort of represent, people say, penises or power. Penis as a symbol of power. And so here you have this guy who you could kind of say is a real dick, and he's put himself on the symbol of power, and then Valve frames it, so that you come out here. Here's the source of the sound you're hearing. It's up, and then that directs your eyes up all the way up the Citadel, where it disappears into the clouds. And that's a really great way to frame the Citadel, which really is the central landmark in the whole game. So as you travel around City 17 in episode 1 and 2 and all of Half-Life 2, you can almost always see the Citadel. So you have some sort of relationship to where you are in the game as you travel through. So that's really great. I love that.
Let me assure you that the suppressing field will be shut off on the day
I'm going to progress where I know I need to go.
mastered ourselves. The day we can prove we know who to meet it.
Again, so here's this, people inside, and this guy's telling me to go away. See the Striders for the first time. It's so weird. It doesn't feel like I should be able to jump up onto that. Yeah, but the game just lets you. And then down. Oh, weird sense of vertigo there. That's weird. And you're over. Man. I'll take a break. This is making me a little queasy. Ooh, man. It's also like really hot in my house. How far am I? I'm barely even into the game. I'm already feeling really gross. So like I said, this is not how these games are meant to be played. This is why I think this is why Valve says this style of motion makes people sick. Oh, man. I'm gonna muscle through. That's what I'm gonna do. Until I start vomiting, and then I won't be thrilled. I at least want to get through the first chapter. At least get to a gun. I'm gonna skip a bunch of this stuff so I can get through. Yeah, see, that's really weird too. I feel like I can just walk under this, but I can't. I have to crouch. It's really bizarre.
He's one of us. I can't take it anymore.
Attention, residents. Miscount detected in your block.
Man. Yeah, I'm feeling like really weird. Almost like getting really sweaty, and I don't know if it's just my stomach or if it's something else. So I really like this part. These see, so these guys will start beating you, but there's definitely like this hesitation. They don't want to chase you, but they really make you feel like, you know, you need to run. Oh my gosh. Oh, that loading screen. Oh, man. The loading screen really takes it out of you like immediately. Oh man. Well, I'm gonna take a break. I think I'll be back in a little bit. Man, that is I like have a glisten of sweat all over me. I'll play more in the future. Okay. So before I lasted about 15 minutes, and I'm still kind of feeling gross from that.
Head for the roof. There's no time to lose.
So now you can see they come in, they start beating that guy. The audio's great. Here so you can see the guys, they don't really want to chase you. They'll slow down a little bit.
Get in here quick.
You know, say they take their time. Man, okay, so that's the loading. I do okay, and as soon as you hit the loading and it stops following you, you stop tracking. Oh, it's like instant barf. I tend not to get like really bad vertigo from it though. Like this doesn't really bug me. You see the APC down there? It'll be nice to get close to some of this stuff to really like get a feeling of the scale. Scripted getting shot. This really feels risky. Might have to close my eyes for this part so I don't barf. Oh my gosh. Ugh, yeah, here it comes. Ugh, I'm just gonna take my beating.
Over here! Ha, no, you don't.
Closing my eyes so I don't get sick.
Dr. Freeman, I presume.
This is weird. I'm probably gonna stand up here and just.
I better hurry.
Oh, that's weird. They're like
The
2D.
Combines are slow to wake, but once they're up,
It's
you
weird.
don't want to get in their way.
Oh, that is weird. Yeah, that was all very weird.
Dr. Kleiner said you'd be coming this way. I don't think it occurred to him that you might not have a map.
Oh yeah, see, I'm starting to get like really sweaty again. Gosh, yeah, my body just wants me to vomit.
I'm Alex Vance. My father worked with you back in Black Mesa. I'm sure you don't remember me, though. Man, a few words, aren't you?
Just leave this on while I enjoy my elevator ride.
Remember him from Black Mesa? Your old administrator. Don't get my dad started on Dr. Breen.
Oh, yeah, see, there I am. Oh,
Through here.
I do not want to vomit. I really don't feel like vomiting.
Come on, Gordon.
Alex is telling me, she's like, come on, Gordon. Okay, I'm gonna go on. Here I go. These buttons, they're like crazy big. You think of them as like 1-inch buttons, but they're like 1.5 inches. I don't know how much more of this I can do. I may have to do this like in 20-minute bits, like once a day.
funny,
loading.
you showing up on this day in particular.
Like that touchpad's crazy big.
We've been helping people escape the city on foot. It's a dangerous route to my father's lab, through the old canals. Today, we're
I
finally
don't know
on
if
the
I can
verge
do
of
this.
having it our way.
Oh, it
Here,
sounds so
let
gross.
me buy you a drink.
This is like so much the opposite of fun.
By the way,
The lab is
nice to finally
fun.
meet you.
Anything actually made for VR is fun. This is like so nauseating. I think I'm gonna quit. I can't do it. Oh my gosh.
Come out of there!
Uh-oh, I think